Hello everybody, it's the video that a lot of people have been looking forward to and a lot of people have been requesting. It is the 2018 redraw of Changes. Now, to give you a little bit of context, Changes was a drawing I made in 2015. I'm still not entirely sure why I made it to begin with, but it was a drawing of a girl cutting her hair in what looks to be a bathroom with a mirror behind her, and originally, the first ever drawing of this, the first version, was kind of emotionless and it was kind of very stiff. There's a lot of issues going on there. You can see I didn't quite know how to draw faces from that angle, and I also didn't really know much about anatomy. So I was struggling with a lot of things in this, especially the hand, and I still struggle with hands today, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. So that is the context to that drawing, and then I've been redrawing it every year since. 2016 was the year where I drew the neck way too small and gave her very pronounced cheekbones, and then 2017 was the year I basically drew the eye way too big and the neck was still a little bit too small and the anatomy is still a little bit off. So 2017, last year's one, I was really proud of at the time, but now when I look at it, I'm like, oh, I could do so much better. So because it has been almost a year since the last redraw of this, I thought, let's redraw it now and see if I have improved at all and what I can do better this time. So this time around, I did a little sketch before I began of how I wanted the girl to look. Now, originally in the 2016 redraw, her hair was sticking up a lot more and a lot less flat than in the 2017 redraw. A lot of the criticism that I got from my last redraw of this last year was that her hair was way too flat, and I completely agreed with that. What was missing from that one was the hair of the 2016 one. It looked a lot better and a lot more natural when it was sticking up a lot more and wasn't just flat to her head. So this time around, I wanted to evoke more of the 2016 version into my newest version. Another thing I did was, other than sketch out the character before I went into the final drawing, I also live streamed this process on my second channel. I asked the live stream chat for what they thought could be better from the 2017 version that I can improve for the new version. The common thing that came up was the flat hair that I just mentioned, but also the anatomy, the tattoo on the arm that looks a little bit weird, and mainly the hands and the positioning that she's in. I wanted the drawing to be one you looked at and it tells you a story. I want it to be something you look at and you can see what's going on. You can put all the pieces together, and just from looking at the drawing you can tell a bit about the girl, about what she's doing and about how she feels about it. And every single time I was drawing this, it really did feel like it lacked emotion and it lacked movement, and it didn't look like she was like in the moment about to snip her hair off. This time around I thought I will actually go on YouTube and look at videos of people cutting their hair. So the first thing I did was I searched into YouTube, cutting my own hair, and I found a video by a girl and I really liked the thumbnail image that she used. I took a screenshot of the thumbnail and I used that as my reference for the hands in this newer one, and I've actually gotten a lot more confident about drawing hands now. So when I recreated it this time, it looked a lot more natural when I actually used reference for how hands actually look when cutting hair. So it looks much more like she's caught in the moment now, I think, than as opposed to last year's one. Another major change this time around was the eyes. You'll notice that every single time I draw this, I keep changing where the eyes are looking. In the first one, she was looking out the window, and I think I was trying to make it look like she was looking at the scissors, but I didn't do a very good job of it. In the second one, she's looking off into the middle distance, and in last year's one, she's looking at the scissors, which does make sense, but this time I thought it would be much more effective if I had her looking straight at us. And the reason I did this was basically the point of view of this drawing is of the mirror. So basically we are the mirror, and I know that sounds very strange, we are the mirror, but the point of view is the mirror, and this is the mirrored image of what she's seeing in the mirror. So she's checking in the mirror for where she's cutting, as you probably would if you were cutting your hair, and this is the view that you would get if you were a mirror. if that made any sense at all. So I thought it would be much more effective if she was making direct eye contact. I also made a lot more effort with the facial expression, and I feel like for once I actually captured the expression I wanted to capture. It has taken me 4 years to get to a point where I feel like I can finally draw facial expressions, but I'm really happy because I'm finally at that point. And also this drawing is getting more and more closer to what I think I originally envisioned for it. I still think there are obviously things that can be improved even in my newer one, but that only makes me feel even more motivated to draw this again next year. And I think the redraw I do when it comes to the 18th of June next year will be probably, maybe it will be the last one I do, because I think I'll oh, sorry. I got so passionate about what I was saying then that I just banged my fist onto the table. I hope you guys didn't pick up that on the microphone. Sorry about that. But I'm thinking the next time I redraw this, it will finally be as good as I want it to be. But I don't know, because you are constantly improving, so maybe I will carry this on for as long as I am making videos. But yeah, if you guys would like to see a 2019 version of it, let me know. Another thing I liked a lot more about this one is I have done a lot of light studies, so I understand how rim lighting works now, and also subsurface scattering. And if you don't know quite what I'm talking about, if you've ever shone a torch like through your hand and you have looked at how your hand suddenly goes like a little bit like red or like pink colored, that's because when you shine a light through your hand, like something called subsurface scattering happens. This is going to be like the least scientific explanation ever, by the way, but this is just my understanding of it. You should probably look it up in your own terms, because I don't think I'm actually explaining this the proper way. But basically, subsurface scattering is what happens when a light passes through something that is quite, what's the word? That is quite hollow. Not hollow, but like if you shone a torch through a table, you wouldn't be able to see it come out the other side. But because your hand there, it can pass through this. I don't actually know what I'm saying. I don't actually know what subsurface scattering is, so never mind. But basically it's the thing that happens when a light shines through like an object. I may have actually put in a bit too much with some hindsight, but I do like how it looks now. I think this time around I did a much better job with all the colours as well. Overall, I am just glad that I pushed myself this time I redrew it, because I never have properly made an effort with the hands before, and this time I was like, no, you know what, I'm finally gonna do it. I'm gonna put in both the hands, which means double the trouble. I hate hands so much, but definitely using a reference was so much help. So if any of you guys struggle with hands, my biggest tip for you is make sure you look at a reference, because it just helps so much. So as you guys will probably know, I've spent the past year at university. It's been my first year of university, and because of this, I think that's why I've made such an improvement in this one. Not saying you have to go to like art school or something, or do any kind of art course, because I'm doing 3D animation. We do a lot of digital art on my course, but I'm not saying it's vital to do that, like have any kind of teaching, but I'm saying it has helped me a lot to have professional lecturers who have had work in the industry. For example, my lecturer has done concept art for The Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, and I always love the classes we have with him, because we literally just sit there in a classroom and we get to draw for 3 hours whilst being taught by this incredible artist. It's like one of my favorite things. That's why I really enjoyed going to university as opposed to school. I used to have such a horrible time at school because I'd sit there in every lesson, especially like maths and English, and I just wanted to draw. I'd get in trouble all the time because I'd always doodle all over my work. But now, being able to actually go into my lessons and do the things I want to do, I think that has helped me especially flourish as an artist, because I get to do what I want to do a lot more frequently, and I'm getting taught these principles in art that I wouldn't have known about otherwise. and I think that's probably the biggest thing behind any improvements in this drawing, was definitely going to university, especially also the fact that I am constantly surrounded by incredible artists on my course, and at times it is a little bit discouraging because I'm around so many incredible people who are just so good at drawing, and I feel like my art isn't good enough, but in a way it also pushed me because I want to be better. So that's why I love doing the Draw This Again so much. I now encourage you guys to do your own Draw This Again. Find a drawing of yours from a year ago or maybe 5 years ago and redraw it now and see how much differently you redraw it. I promise you will see a massive improvement, and it will just make you feel really motivated and encouraged about your art. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to let me know if you would like to see a 2019 version, and I will see you again next Friday. Bye guys!